Matt's Cash and Carry, a ma and pa version of a lumberyard, located in Pharr, Texas, off the Expressway 83 and Frontage Road. It's a sole proprietorship that focuses on providing the best service to their customers, community, and company. But like many family-owned businesses, it has certain constraints. In Matt's Cash and Carry, the constraint of time has not allowed them to develop a current asset. We have been asked by Matt, the owner of the company, for a strategic consult in applying our knowledge of the company for a decision to solve the issue. We came up with a decision tree that will give us a better perspective on what decision Matt's Cash and Carry will be implementing to relieve them from their constraints in developing their current asset. Our group came up with 4 possible outcomes. The first one was to sell the extra property, the second one was to develop apartments, the third will be to develop office buildings, or disregard the inconvenience and do nothing of the situation. These are the steps we followed when we came up with our decision. First, we had to understand the situation, read, gather data, and think about our project. Second, we had to draw the decision tree. In the decision tree, we have the decision nodes, which means I have the power to decide, and we have the chance nodes. Thirdly, we had to find the expected values for every node, and then mark off the worst path. And last, we had to choose the optimum path. We compared the cost of building and what our profit will be in 5 years. Our decision tree was made up of our market being in a 60% favorable market, or a 40% it will be unfavorable market. Our first decision was to sell property. We got this information by the market value of the land, which was $806,400. Second was develop apartments. If our market is favorable, this gives us our final profit in 5 years of $340,000. If the market is unfavorable, then Matt would end up with a loss in 5 years of $20,000. Our third decision is to develop a strip mall. If the market is favorable, then Matt would be able to rent out the office space at full capacity, which in the end would come out to a profit of $407,760 in a 5-year period. If the market is unfavorable, then Matt would only be able to rent out half the space, and this would give a total of a negative $396,120. Our last decision is to do nothing with the land and not to risk losing money. On this next slide, we are starting to work our way to finding our final decision. The first step is to find the best decision for each decision node. For this step, we are going to work our way from the right to the left. So the first decision we are going to find is what path to take if there is a favorable or unfavorable market. Since the decision node for the apartment is to the farthest right, we will start with that one. To find expected value for this path, we will first multiply the final value by the probability, which would be 340,000 times the probability of 0.6. Then you have to do the same for the lower path, which would be a negative 20,000 times the probability of 0.4. After these two values are calculated, all you need to do is add them up and you get your expected profit for that particular path. Now we have to do the same for the next decision node, which is the decision for the strip mall. After doing the same calculations for this node, we get an expected profit of $86,208. We now go to the next decision to the left, which is the decision to either keep operating the apartments or to sell the apartments after they are built. When we look at the decision tree and see this decision is marked by a square, this means there is no probability for the decision and we just have to pick the highest value, which would be $196,000. Now we have all our final values for the decision tree. It is now time to pick our final decision. To do this, we mark off the decisions that we do not like one by one until we end up with the greatest value. In this case, we mark off the unwanted decision paths by the 2 lines. After canceling 3 paths, we are left with our final decision. It is best for Matt's Cash and Carry to sell the property and make a total profit of $306,208 $8,400.